Okay, so if you want to take a little bit of time to pause this video, you can, and you can write the following down. If you already have it in your notes, then that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and go over what each of the formulas really means. So the first one is the confidence interval for proportions, right? And for the true value of the population proportion, right? So we know that we don't know what the true value is, right? So we're going to take a sample and we're going to find a lower bound, right? This is my lower bound, and I'm also going to have an upper bound, right? So these are the formulas that we use, right? Notice that we have the Z star, right? This Z star is right here on this table, right? So it really depends. So if I give you a 90% confidence interval, our Z star is going to be 1.645. If I have a 95% confidence interval, my Z star is going to be 1.96. And if I have a 99% confidence interval, my Z star is going to be 2.575. So this is something that you might want to put on your cheat sheet for exam number 3. So definitely put that there. Then secondly, we also have the confidence interval for means, right? And we have 2 of them. One of them when the population standard deviation is known, right? So see how sigma here, we know what this is, and that's given, right? In that case, the formula is kind of the same. We still use Z star, right? And the Z star is here in this table. However, if the sample standard deviation is given, so this S, right, then we're going to use T. That's where this T comes from, right? And we're going to use the T table, okay? I put down here all the variables in case you have forgotten what all of them mean. But yeah, so this is basically the formulas that we're going to be using. And now I'm going to show you 2 examples. So I'll do one, and if I have time, then I'll do the second one. If not, then I'll put it in another video. Okay. So here are my problems. So my first problem is I want to know the proportion of people who go to the gym. Okay. And in San Diego, I put SD here. So I obtain 35 people and 20 say they go. Okay. Find a 90% confidence interval for the true proportion. So for the people that go to the gym. So I don't know what the true value is, right? I know for a fact that I got 35 people, and out of the 35 people, 20 said that they go. Now, since I'm looking for a confidence interval, right? Let's go back. Which one would make the most sense to use, right? So in this case, it would be proportions, right? Because we're looking for proportions. Nothing in the problem says something about standard deviation, population, or sample, right? So we're going to use this one, the first one, okay? So let's go ahead and write that formula down, right? So I know that my lower bound is going to be p hat minus z star square root of p hat 1 minus p hat over n. And I know that my upper bound is going to be the same thing, but this time it's going to be a plus. Z star square root of p hat 1 minus p hat over n. Okay, now we need to figure out what all of this is, right? So p hat, we know that that's my sample proportion, right? Well, how many people said that they go to the gym? Well, this 20 out of this 35 are the ones that say go to the gym, right? What I would suggest is to go ahead and put this in the calculator so you can have some sort of decimal, right, to work with. And what we get is 0.57, right? Approximately. Okay, so that's what my p hat is. N is just a number of samples, right? So we got 35 people, right? Now what we need to figure out is what is the Z star, right? Well, go back to the table, right? We said that Z star corresponds with the type of confidence interval that we have, right? So if we look back, we are looking for a 90% confidence interval. So a 90% confidence interval corresponds with the Z star of 1.645, okay? So this is going to be 1.645. Okay, now we basically have everything that we need. So I'm going to plug it in. So p hat, so this is going to be 0.57 minus 1.645, right? Square root of 0.57, 1 minus 0.57 divided by n, which is in this case 35. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to be exactly the same thing, but I'm just going to change it to a plus. Okay, and what I would recommend is go ahead and put this on your calculator, because this is where usually the most of the mistakes come in, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my calculator. 0.57 minus 1.645 square root of 0.57, 1 minus 0.57 divided by 35. And what I end up getting is about 0.43. Okay, so double check my work, right? And then I'm gonna put the same thing for the minus one. Instead of putting a minus, I'm gonna put a plus, and what I get is about 0.71. I just rounded it. Okay, so my interval, my lower bound is gonna be 0.43, and my upper bound is gonna be 0.71. If you wanted to look at it in terms of percentages, it's gonna be between 43% and 71%. So something to really know, okay, what exactly does this interval mean? What this says is that we are how much confident? 90% confident, right? All right, that the true value, right, of, or I shouldn't say value, that the true proportion of people, in this case San Diego, right, of people who go to the gym, lies between what two numbers? Well, it's going to be between the numbers that I got, 43% and 71%, right? So those are the two values, right? So this is our interpretation. Sometimes I will ask you to interpret, right? So this is what you would go ahead and say. So we are 90% confident, well, in this case it's 90, right, that the true proportion, right, is going to lie between these two numbers, right? So we know that our original p hat, this is not the true value, right? We just want a range of values, right? So this is my range. This is how confident I am. Okay, so in the next video I'll show you one with means. Okay.